Alright, boys, we are back. Good news, I am finally feeling a little bit better. I finally got some of my energy back. I'm ready to go. Bad news is we just ended up taking an L on this trade on the NASDAQ today. I was initially bearish. I wanted to look to go short today, but by the time that the news move ended up happening, which was at 9 a.m., and that was Jolts today, we ended up having a retracement into my bullish zone, and I was already entered long based off that point. And I'll show you exactly what happened. Obviously, as you guys see, price is just continuing to run down. I'll show you exactly what happened. I'll go over everything today, and I'll go over why I took my personal loss. So, first things first, let me erase everything that we got up on the screen besides our liquidity zones. So we had market open here at 8:30. Right as market opened, we were retracing into this 1 hour bearish fair value gap. Based off that, this is what I wanted to use to go short based off. Based off price coming into the 1 hour bearish fair value gap and actually taking out a lot of this buy side liquidity. While doing so, we ended up getting extra confirmation as well. Obviously, now you guys are seeing my loss that I took today. I'll go over that in a second. Regardless, price ended up coming down. We ended up taking out some sell side liquidity here, but we ended up sweeping out a lot of buy side when we came up. So at this point, we took out all this buy side liquidity, all this pre-market buy side, and then we were also filling this 1 hour fair value gap, and also at the same time that we were filling this 1 hour fair value gap, we never retraced into the original candle, but we were filling this order block as well. So based off that, I knew that price was gonna be more favorable to be bearish. The only thing is, I didn't know how bearish it was gonna be. So my first price target, or what I would have been looking at, is literally simply 4 hour equilibrium, or this is hourly equilibrium. Based off even 4 hour equilibrium, if I pull that up, it's still that same exact move. Regardless, we got 1 hour equilibrium right here. This 4 hour bullish inverse fair value gap is literally right at this 25% mark of this move. Based off this, I at least thought that price was going to come into here and then want to see a reaction forwards. Obviously, that is not what ended up happening. I'm going to take this back down to the 15-minute. So yes, we took out multiple levels of sell side liquidity. We took out yesterday's day, or not the daily low, but we ended up taking out yesterday's, like, the pre-market liquidity, and then we ended up taking out multiple levels of all of this liquidity is gone. Anyways, regardless, price retrace into here, we never ended up catching the move. Now, a lot of people are probably asking, Dan, what was your confirmation based off this? Dan actually entered this trade simply based off price coming into the zone. I have done that multiple times before. It's worked out and it has not. I mean, at the end of the day, trading is all the game of probability. But I think next time, I don't think I'm going to be taking trades like this anymore. I feel like it's just rushed. I feel like it's just better to wait for the extra confirmation. So now let's take a look. Did we end up getting extra confirmation today? So for me, I wait for a 3-minute break of structure. We ended up getting a 3-minute break of structure right here. Already at this point, we have this giant move down. So at this point, we want price just to come up here, and then we're probably going to be looking for a retracement down. This is the second mistake I made. We were already in quite an obvious downtrend, and price was already moving down. I did not wait for confirmation before I entered. Obviously, if I ended up waiting for confirmation, let's see. So we broke structure here on the 3-minute. Let's scale down to the 1 minute. Let's find a place where price wants to retrace to. Honestly, right here, you could just draw out this equilibrium, literally 25% mark. I would have entered, if I waited for extra confirmation and I wanted to go long, I would have literally simply placed my trade right here. I would have been stopped out. Regardless what would have happened today, based off this entry, it wasn't going to work out. Price obviously is now wanting to seek lower, and let me go over why. Because on the daily equilibrium is not even at the 25% mark, or even with this 4 hour bearish inverse fair value gap. So let me show you daily equilibrium now. Let me remove this too so this doesn't throw me off. Daily equilibrium, where price is drawing to, we just filled the 50% mark right down here. So, I mean, being realistic today, I definitely deserved my loss because I had my wrong bias. And I want to go over now the other opportunity, what you could have taken if you were looking for shorts today. And obviously, this is before 9 a.m. news. So at 9 a.m. news, we had jolts. So obviously, you pay attention. You have all this like chopping, and then you get the 9 a.m. candle, bam. Um, I mean, it's just whatever. I mean, that's what ended up happening today. We had a pretty decent short opportunity here. So price ended up retracing into this hourly bearish fair value gap. Based off that, price then ended up making this giant move down. Okay, so you had your price retrace to it, and now you've had to move down, and now I guarantee you that you even have a 5-minute break of structure, which at this point we did. We had a 5-minute break of structure right here. We also took out some of the sell side liquidity, not all of it though. Regardless, at this point, now all we want is price to retrace back to this 50% mark, and then you would be looking for an entry. So based off that, literally right at this 50% mark, if you were looking to go short, I mean, this wouldn't have been the greatest in my opinion. Now let's check stop loss. So my stop loss on this was 42.75. I mean, we wouldn't have been stopped out. Realistically, my stops are probably right at this like 50% mark. Based off that move we've already had, I'd want extra confirmation. That's literally simply what I would have probably been trading. And then realistic price target would have been, like I said, this 4-hour inverse fair value gap. All right, and then I know someone's definitely questioning how much should we lose today. I will go over that in just 1 second, and then I'll show you the official status of the funded account. So I mean, realistically, just price re-entering, it would have been like right here, like a 2.8. Regardless, that's a pretty good trade. I wouldn't even consider that a scalp anymore. That's more of a trade, but regardless, pretty good. Pretty decent if you were able to catch that. And I know a lot of people did. I just didn't want to take that simply because of news, man. And I hate 9 a.m. news days, bro. I've literally talked about this before. Like, I literally hate these days. Like, it's worse in my opinion than like any other day, because you miss out on a really good time to enter a lot of the time, and it's what ended up happening today. You guys see the full total. We are down $158 right now. So yeah, that's how it is. That's how it is on the day. We are still up $16 on the week, but I am done with the funded account for this week because of non-farm payroll. I will be trading on the live account tomorrow though, so we'll see how that goes. But otherwise than that, boys, I know there was a lot of yapping today. Hopefully you guys were able to learn something pretty in depth today. Otherwise than that, boys, see you on the next one.